Atlanta's home prices have been declining, listings have been rising, meaning homes are sitting on the market longer. Sellers are putting their homes up. They're not really going as quickly. And so you got more sellers putting homes up for sale. And then also, we're entering into that time now where homes naturally do start to slow. So I do want to mention that as well. We are in that time frame where we're kind of past, on the tail end of that home buyer rush of the spring and summer where things pick up. We're entering into October now, or August, what, October. We're entering into August where
Push us on ahead, brother. Don't do that.
no, I definitely don't want to speed up life for sure. So, but no, we're entering into August where typically, homes are going to start to slow down as kids start to enter back into school. Those families that would normally be moving from where they're living at now into maybe a better house or a nicer house or a different location, they're kind of settling in now because the school year's starting. You don't want to be so disruptive to, the kids' lives, and especially pulling them in and out of school and everything like that. So I personally think that some of the increase in listings is just because of the cyclical nature of real estate. If you look at a year, any year, it doesn't really matter, of the real estate market, you're going to see, around that April, May time, home sales start picking up, and then around that, August time frame, they drop back down again because
Oh, yeah.
of the fall. Exactly. So I think that plays into it. But I do think there's some other stuff happening behind the scenes with home prices slowing down as well. But what are your thoughts though?
Yeah, I think what's contributing to it's not that more people, well, it could be that some people are in financial trouble and need to downsize and need to sell. But like you said, the longer that a home sits on the market, it stays a part of inventory. And then you still have other homes that are coming, and that's increasing inventory. But one reason that homes are staying on the market a long time is not necessarily because they're not selling or it's taking them a long time to sell. It's just because they'll go under contract. But right now, these are unprecedented times where buyers are backing out of contracts even more now compared to other times, because it is a buyer's market. The buyers do have the upper hand, and so if the seller refuses to work with them on closing costs, I've had people send an offer but we could not come to an agreement because the buyer absolutely needed $10,000. And last year's sellers market and in the 2023 sellers market, that amount of closing costs was absurd and unheard of on a home under $400,000,
Mhm.
but you're asking for this on a home that's just over $300,000. Like, do y'all have any money? Because that's your whole down payment. You know what I'm talking about? That's the whole amount of your closing cost. Y'all ain't bringing nothing to the table, huh? So somebody asked me the other day, my mechanic actually was like, is right now a good time to buy? Like, be honest with me. And see, people, realtors, we're going to always give the same, response. It's always a great
It's
time to
always a
buy.
grease time.
They think that we're lying, but the thing is, right now is an excellent time to buy if you have good credit, because buyers are getting whatever they freaking want. And I've told my sellers this, we're just not in that market anymore. We're not in those times. I think what was interesting about that article, though, was how it said that the median home price is what, 390K,
I believe
350K,
so.
like that, 380K,
In here.
in Atlanta,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, actually, no. In June, the median sales price in Atlanta metropolitan area was 407.
In June, okay, 407. Did it drop to three? It was something where it was saying that you need 120K annual income to qualify for a house that is that price.
Mm.
Oh no, that's the homes.com article. The other article, it was stating that the median home price in Atlanta has dropped to like 390K.
Gotcha.
Now that we're in July, almost in August, really
Hmm.
just a sneeze away from August. And so what I also thought was interesting about the homes.com article was that the price decline here in Atlanta is 3%, whereas nationwide it's less than half of that. So home prices have gone down like 1.3% nationwide, but in Atlanta we're closer to 3%. Um, so, and that's just in this particular home selling season. So, and yes, I will admit, I will attest that we'll one of my listings, we dropped the price $29,000
Mm.
before we finally got under contract, and they still offered us 5,000 less than that. So that's a total of 35 grand, and that put us at just under 10%, or right at 10%, just under 11% price drop. And I told the seller, I was like, from the beginning, had we priced it at that, which is really kind of what it was worth, but we needed to price it higher so that she could at least walk away with something, or perhaps not owe anything at closing. But it's funny how we just went, it took us 5 months and we went full circle, because we came on the market at a certain price and it was priced right. But then we were like, oh, your payoff is still high, so let's ask for a little more. And the thing is, we got 3 offers at the highest price, the next price drop, and the price drop after that. We got full price offers.
Oh, wow.
But we never got to appraisal. One of them backed out before we were able to get the appraisal results. And that was always my concern. Because we're asking for a lot of money, but just because you're asking for a lot of money, the longer that you're sitting on the market and the more times you're going under contract, other houses in the neighborhood are selling. And this particular neighborhood has a lot of comps. With us being one of the smallest floor plans in the neighborhood, I was concerned. I was concerned about that appraisal. I was like, ooh, we're probably about 30K too high. So either way, you're either going to have to drop the price to the appraisal amount if you want to sell, or I don't know, just keep staying on the market looking crazy and making everybody think that there's something wrong with the house. So it's not that easy. It's not that cut and dry for these sellers that are out there right now, because a lot of them don't want to drop the price. Baby, it ain't even about you and what you think and what you want. It's Mr. and Miss Appraiser that you're going to have to contend with.
Yeah.
I
had a guy, I think I told you about it, where he was trying to do a refi out on a property that he had just purchased, and the appraisal came in lower than what he purchased it for.
My God, today and tomorrow.
Yeah. And then he had a second appraisal done that came in lower than the first appraisal. So it's like, you know what? Maybe we should just stop getting appraisals done.
Listen, they all work together.
Yeah.
Secret underground network. They got meetings every second and third Tuesday. Stop. You can't just accept it. If you want to sell, some people don't have to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But most people, especially if they moved out or they're trying to escape the high mortgage in the first place, you can't be out here playing games with these people.
No.
And but I'm glad that you're not forced as a seller to meet the appraisal price, because there's also ways around that. You can, especially if the buyer has cash, right? But again, if that cash is supposed to be being used for other things, their lender could say, well, no, you can't cover that appraisal gap. Or where are you getting this money from? Account for it.
Yeah.
My cousin, granny, sister, mama. No, I don't want to hear that.
So
well, where did they get it from? Has it been in their account for at least 60 days? Like, it's crazy.
And I'll say, I'll go out on a limb and say that I think Atlanta is primed to have some huge drops in the real estate market if there is a bigger than what you'll see in some other major metropolitan cities, if there is a correction or a shift or something that happens in the real estate market to any major scale. And the reason is because so many people have been moving to Atlanta. Atlanta has been growing so big and so fast, and you can't throw a rock without hitting 3 new subdivisions coming up. I mean, it's literally that bad, if you will, that good. I mean, that to be determined, but it's something. where you drive down the road and everywhere you look, you're passing new subdivision, new subdivision, new subdivision. I mean, anywhere they got trees, they're pulling them up and they're laying down foundation for another subdivision. Some of these are, built to rent subdivisions. Some of them are built to own, and they're selling properties for, the 350s, the 380s and up, whatever it might be. You've got new subdivisions coming up everywhere. With that, if home prices continue to slow and people aren't buying these homes, you're going to end up seeing in Atlanta a huge drop off in prices, because one of the things is that these builders need to get rid of this inventory. They're sitting on a lot of debt when they're putting these homes up, or if they got really deep pockets, they've got a lot invested into these things and they need to get some of that cash back. But a lot of times they're sitting on, a good amount of debt to build these subdivisions and everything. So I think Atlanta is one of those areas, those metropolitan cities, that's really primed to see a huge drop depending on how the economy goes, more so than other cities. Like you mentioned earlier, you said it's about 1.3% or something like that for the rest of the country, but in Atlanta, it's been about a 3% drop. And I think that's going to get exponentially bigger across the country. You could see a drop, but in Atlanta, you could see a bigger drop, just because there's so much building, but people still aren't buying, because prices are still higher than what they like. Interest rates are still higher than what they like. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but not today, but, in another episode. But with things kind of not where people would like, people still aren't really buying homes right now, but they're still throwing them up everywhere you look. And I'm seeing signs, they're trying to sell these homes, but they're just not selling as fast as they'd like them to sell. And so, like you mentioned, if you're a buyer in the market, why not shoot for the moon?
Ask for whatever you want, baby, because you gonna get it.
I was literally talking to an agent yesterday who is looking to submit an offer for a client, and the agent said, I'm gonna just ask for the 6%. Because for those of you who don't know, 6% is the most that FHA will allow for the seller to contribute. So they said, we're just gonna max it out. Let's just ask for the whole max that FHA will allow. Ooh. And I'm like, why not? What's the—
You want to sell it, don't you? You want to sell it, don't you?
got you by the tail. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, if the worst that you can hear is no, and if it's a home that's been sitting on the market for like 30, 40, 50 days, ain't nobody want that house anyways. So the worst you can hear is no, and they counter offer, but you're still in a position of power, because it's like, you know what? Your house can sit on the market another 2 months and I'll go elsewhere, or you can come out of the pocket a little bit if you want to sell this house.
That is the thing. They have because even when we first came on the market with this one particular listing, and the closing date just got pushed back, I'm like, oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. But when we came on the market in March, there wasn't as much inventory, and so it was taking buyers a little bit more time to make their decision whether or not they wanted to go for it, or if they did go for it, whether they wanted to back out. But now it's like, well, you're not the lowest price home in the area. You're not the nicest home. You're not the biggest home. There's homes that's bigger than yours that's priced similarly. And so it's like they have so many more options to choose from now. So yeah, it's that comparison thing, man. I also saw that in May, Atlanta led the nation with a 41.6% annual increase in the number of homes for sale. And I don't know of any agent right now. Well, there may be a few, but like I was telling you, Frederick, I have 5-6 listings right now. A couple of them are for sale, like land. But that's the most listings that I've had in a while at one time. And I almost got a 7th. It was for a rental. But even with rentals, this landlord was telling me that he rented this house out for $2,600, and he was trying to do it again. And he has had it on the market for 5 months. He's down to $2,100 now and still hasn't gotten it rented out. So, even rentals, People are just being more cautious with their money due to the fact that inflation has caused prices to rise on lots of things.
Hmm.
It was a point where we only had to worry about gas prices, but now, groceries, and not only
Insurance,
that, but
insurance, the
yes,
devil, insurance,
yes.
the devil.
And not only that, but we're paying more for less. It's called shrinkflation. I've been seeing it all over social media where they have
Shrinkflation?
this shrinkflation. Yeah, like whereas you would get I saw it at Dollar Tree actually. I get these, it's a 5-pack of scouring pads that I get from Dollar Tree, and I cut them in half so I get 10 because they're too big to use whole. Um they were $1. Now Dollar Tree is like $1.25 or $1.50 tree now,
Yeah,
and they're going
no,
up to $1.75.
not even true to their own name. It's just,
$1.75 tree. Tell me why I went in that store the other day and it's $1.50 now instead of $1, and they giving you 4 instead of 5. I said, well, I guess I'm gonna have to start cutting them into threes.
oh, wow.
Yeah. So buyers, renters, everybody trying to hold on to their money as best as they can in this
Mhm.
market. So um I don't know. I'm excited about, it's just crazy because usually um when interest rates are high, the prices have to go down, they'll go down. But this has been a
Mhm.
real stubborn market in regards to that.
This is, yeah, this is, I've talked to agents that have been in the market for, or in real estate for decades, two, three, some of them 4 decades. And they're like, I've never seen a market like this. It's just been
Wow.
so interesting. I mean, obviously, the pandemic was literally like a once in a lifetime thing where my dad was over 4 decades in real estate as a broker, never had a pandemic in any of those 4 decades, and what we saw with interest rates going down to 2%. I mean, when he was buying homes in the 80s and 90s, they had time frames where interest rates were at 11%. Double digit interest rates were like the norm. And
Mhm.
so we were complaining about the 5% interest rates and 6% interest rates. They were doing double digit interest rates. Then we got really spoiled. When I say spoiled, because really it was a horrible thing for the economy because it created so much inflation with rates going down to 2% and 3% and everyone wanting to buy. And then it went the opposite direction and shot up to 8%. We're just in that market to where now it's like, they cooled back down to the sixes, but people still aren't buying. Home prices are starting to cool, but people still aren't buying. And it's like, you hear calls from one side, oh, we need to cut interest rate. We need to cut interest rates. It's like, I don't feel like that's going to benefit America as a whole. I feel like that's going to benefit people with deep pockets because those are going to be the people that are looking to buy up whatever, and they're going to be saving the money on however much interest they would be paying by having those lower rates. But your average American who can't afford the homes now, maybe you have a few more that can enter in, but I
A
think a
few
lot of
more.
people are still going to be sitting on the fence.
Right. I agree. Just a few.
Yeah, I think a few are going to enter in, but a lot of them, I think they're just going to be still sitting on the fence. Meanwhile, people who've been sitting, with dry powder on the side. Dry powder is, an investment term for just, cash that they have waiting to deploy. And so people who've been sitting with cash, essentially waiting for that opportunity, interest rates drop. Those are the people that are going to go take advantage of it. The people that, oh, I can afford a home now. Yep, you're going to be getting outbid like you did in 2020 by people who have more money than you. It's going to be the same thing. I'm sorry to just put it bluntly like that, but it's like
Dream killer.
you're going to be getting outbid. Though you think it's not going to, it's going to be 2020 all over again. You're like, I can afford a home now.
It's negative now. What's going on?
I mean, I wish I had the time to just make it all nice and put a bow on it and,
Understand.
but sometimes the truth cuts deep. And I mean, it's like we saw literally just a few years ago what happens when interest rates drop really low. It's not like, oh, everybody who couldn't afford a home but now can gets a home. It's like, no, everybody who has money now buys up everything because they can get it at a really low interest rate. So they're basically paying next to nothing for interest. They're happy to throw in more money when they're not really paying interest on it at all. And that's
So
what we
let me
see.
be a word to the wise, a word of caution. If you're choosing not to purchase right now, but you really do want to, go ahead and save up your cash, because if and when those interest rates drop, there will be bidding wars, and that's one of the only ways, well, the only wise, halfway wise ways, because at least if you put money into a home, you can eventually, if you stay there long enough, you can get it back with equity. But that's going to be one of the only ways that you win in a market where those interest rates drop. Um, we have said this before on this podcast. There are other ways, such as waiving, your inspection and all of that. You can't ever get that money back. If you get into a money pit,
Yeah.
that's not something that can be fixed with time, like putting in a little bit of extra cash to win a bidding war
Mhm.
going in. So be smart about it. Don't do anything crazy. Don't waive your inspection. Don't waive any of your contingencies, because they're built into the contracts to help you. But if you have that extra cash, when that time comes, you're more likely to and just make sure that you're purchasing where you plan on staying. Because all those people that came here from California during the pandemic, the majority of those people are the ones with their houses on the market now. And it's like, you've only been here 3 years. I thought you liked it down here. What's going on? You're not happy already? Yeah. So,
Yeah. That heat and humidity got to you. Smack you in the face with all that heat and humidity. You're like, oh, this is different.
Around here.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe around here. All this heat and humidity.
My hair keep freezing up. That's why everybody in Georgia got braids on the blocks.
Yes, so true. But no, it's been good. That's all that I have really. And honestly, I've got a rock and roll anyway, so that's all you get for right now. But make sure
Yeah, we're giving it to y'all short and sweet today.
Exactly. But still good. Start saving your chips, because trust me, if and when things turn around, you're going to wish you had some money on the sidelines that you could deploy to actually get that home. So make sure you're saving and putting yourself in a position to make it happen, and work on that credit too, because credit is the number one thing that keeps people out of qualifying for a home. So be working on that credit also.
Please pay that $200 Comcast bill.
Yes.
$1,000 credit card.
It ain't
Don't
worth
buy
it.
chicken. Don't buy you some Jordans, and don't get your lashes done for like 6 months. And I promise you, you can pay that off. Oh my goodness.
Yes. It ain't worth it to just destroy your whole credit because you like, well, I don't owe them $150. So you're going to destroy your whole credit over $150? Come on, let's be smart about this. Let's be smarter. I've seen it so many times.
Podcast. We need to have a podcast.
Just give them $150, never use them again. You can leave them a bad review. That's going to do more to hurt them than it is, for you to not even pay your bill. That $150, they're going to go on about their business.
Hurting yourself.
Pay them the $150. Leave them the bad review.
$150 is like a mosquito biting an elephant. They ain't gonna feel it.
But they will wreck your whole life, wreck your whole credit, everything about you. Can't even purchase a home because take care of your bills, pay your bills.
I don't owe that. I turned the cable box back in. Okay.
Anyways, no, this has been good. So make sure you tune in. Fridays, every Friday, Greatest Asset Community Podcast. Tuesday, Home Finance Hacks. And that's it. So till next time, take care, be blessed. We'll see you next week.